Back on Get Up, and amidst all of the playoff action from this weekend, there is Lamar Jackson. The last month and a half have taken so many twists and turns. It all really began week 13 when he hurt the knee in what was an eventual win over the Broncos in Baltimore. He would miss the last 5 games of the regular season, would not travel with the team to Cincinnati for their wild card loss. Then yesterday, the Ravens and their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, parting ways. Roman saying he was stepping down to pursue other opportunities. Everyone wanted to know, what does that mean for the future of Lamar Jackson? Let's start by hearing from the coach, John Harbaugh.
Lamar Jackson is our quarterback. I mean, he's been our quarterback. Everything we've done in terms of building our offense and building our team, how we think in terms of people and put people around him is based on this incredible young man and his talent, his ability, and his competitiveness. Eric wants him here, I want him here, Steve wants him here, and Lamar wants to be here.
All right, so that's what he said yesterday. Sounds very different than he sounded down the stretch leading into these games. Let's start with this, Diana. Twitter couldn't make up its mind yesterday. Some people thought the departure of Greg Roman meant, oh, Lamar is gone. Others thought it meant that means it's more likely that Lamar stays. How should we interpret this change?
It should be interpreted as the Baltimore Ravens have been disappointed in the decline of this Ravens offense in the passing game specifically over the last few seasons. That's really been the issue. This isn't some little puzzle piece that tells us that they are now going to trade Lamar Jackson and they are going to restructure their entire roster to fit a different type of quarterback. Coach hit it exactly how it's been communicated to me. The Baltimore Ravens are all in keeping Lamar. What will eventually happen in terms of the contract, we don't know just yet.
Right.
But if we can probably predict at this point what will happen, it's most likely going to be the franchise tag. They want to keep Lamar Jackson a Raven.
Look, if you are playing with your quarterback on a franchise tag, not to quibble with your wording, but it's hard to say you're all in, right? All in, I think, to Lamar means something else completely different than playing next year on the franchise tag.
Remember, too, with Greg Roman as well. The fire was hot last year, right? So this is now 2 seasons in a row where it was building, and in the end, they just needed to make a change.
Well, the thread of commonality, Ryan Clark, on those two is that in both of the last 2 seasons, Lamar Jackson got hurt, and the offense fell completely off a cliff without him. So how do you read this? Give me the Ryan Clark crystal ball here. What's going to happen in the next 2 months with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens?
You know what? I'm going to summon my inner Dionne Warwick and think a little bit about Mr. Cleo, which would be my name. I have no freaking idea, Greeny. What I will say is this. The tone of the Baltimore Ravens seems different, and especially John Harbaugh. When he was speaking about Lamar Jackson down the stretch of the season or who he was going to have available, he didn't seem like a guy that was wishing his quarterback were healthy. He seemed like a guy who thought his quarterback was healthy enough to play and wished that he would just decide to play. And so to me, there was a lot of tension there. And we also spoke about Lamar Jackson not accompanying the team to go to Cincinnati. So right now, it sounds like that they understand without Lamar Jackson, we don't have anything. And without having Lamar Jackson, we have to rebuild on a team that has a defense that's ready to win a Super Bowl. So you get rid of Greg Roman. You now bring in another offensive coordinator that you have said Lamar Jackson is going to get an opportunity to sit in with while you make your decision and while you make your pick. I believe the Baltimore Ravens know right now they can't win without Lamar, and they didn't draft in a way to win with a different sort or type of quarterback. So I believe they are all in, but we know what all in means to Lamar Jackson. It means all guaranteed. So we will see if they put their money where their mouth is.
What do we expect, Tim? How do you see the situation?
Let me just say this. Could you imagine being on the verge of guaranteeing a guy, this type of money? We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars potentially. And you have a playoff game and he's not able to play and he doesn't travel with the team. Just to even be a resource to the guy that is playing, to be helpful to that player. Name me another guy you'd feel comfortable guaranteeing that type of money.
So what you're saying, to me,
this doesn't feel good at all. And I get that Harbaugh's tone has changed drastically. And I think now we're dealing with a different thing. We are dealing with frustration in terms of him not playing, okay? And now we are dealing with, look, I'm going to talk this guy up as much as possible because I think everything's on the table for us. And I don't think either of those things really have anything to do with Greg Roman. I think the Greg Roman of it all is a little bit like Wink Martindale. Is Wink a bad coach? No. But did they move on from him in Baltimore? Yes, they did. Is Roman a bad coach? No. But like sometimes it's just time for change.
But let's just make sure that we're clear on what you're saying, because I want to make sure. Lamar Jackson not traveling last weekend, I interpreted as an indication that there are genuinely bad feelings now. I don't know if they're in one direction or in both directions.
Thing to this, because I did ask Baltimore about that afterwards. I said, we're making a big thing about Lamar not going, and they said he wasn't feeling well. Like
he
something.
was sick, right?
He wasn't feeling well.
Listen, if he's contagious, sure, fine. Tell us he's contagious, because like part of it for me is that like if Dak Prescott is hurt, is he there helping Cooper Rush? Heck yeah, he is. And they want him there because he's a valuable resource to help you win games.
And if he can't because he's sick, they would tell you that.
Heck,
the Ravens
yes.
have had opportunities. If there was all this noise, however you want to describe it, around Lamar Jackson, the Ravens have contributed. RC, they've contributed to that noise existing, right?
Oh.
They could have shut this down if they wanted to, and they never chose to.
They could have shut a ton of things down. Think about the reason Lamar Jackson came out and gave the entire world this detailed description of what type of injury he's suffering is because we've been sitting back wondering what's wrong with Lamar Jackson. And John Harbaugh saying, I don't have information on the quarterback. Marlon Humphrey had to come out after the Cincinnati game and said, I knew Lamar couldn't play. He was limping around the facility. When you hear those things, why isn't Baltimore coming out and saying more about Lamar Jackson to protect their quarterback? They're allowing all of these rumors, all of this gossip, all of this talk because they refuse to step up and protect their quarterback. So on top of not wanting me to get a deal or not giving me the deal I want, you also are leaving me out here to dry. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm not happy with the way the Baltimore Ravens have handled this, and the Baltimore Ravens has, at least in my opinion, handled this in the wrong way.
Quickly, Nico, your take on it. Everyone, I agree with, no one seems happy right now in this situation. Can they fix it?
I need to make sure his knee's okay, first of all.
It's unstable, I guess.
If he's been out 6 weeks and he has a grade 3 PCL, a sprain is a tear. So you could Von Miller partially tore his ACL.
Right.
He had to go have it fixed.
Right.
Because you can't fix a PCL or an ACL with just time.
Right.
That has to actually be repaired. So if I'm going to guarantee $250+ million to a guy that has a PCL injury that we don't know will stay stable and sound in a running back, quarterback who wants to run the football, he's got to have his knee. He's got to be 100% before I give him that money.
There are a lot of questions. RC, 10 seconds, finish it up. Yeah.
That is not true. I tore my PCL in 2005. It did take the season in order for me to get healthy. It was never fixed by surgery. I'm no Lamar Jackson. I can't run 4.3, but the next 8 years did work out well for me, never having surgery.
So, look, as you can see, everything in the world is on the table at this point. The next 2 months will be all about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. This weekend will be about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. They go west looking to 86 the 49ers, and we'll tell you exactly what he has to do to get it done. Next, Get Up on ESPN.
We love our new home. There's so much space.
We have a guest room now.
But we have ants.
Just like